Well, this is a picture of Amanda. I made this book for each of our children, and so that they could remember her and have something to share with whoever they meet in the future, that this was their sister. We have 8 children altogether. Amanda was the third born, and so she left behind a lot of hurting siblings.
You know, she was only 19, and I mean, not unlike a lot of, well, not unlike me. You know, she had still a lot of growing up to do, maturing to do, and we could see that beginning.
Amanda and I, we shared a love of shopping together. We always enjoyed going and finding new and fun things. She always had a really good knack for finding interesting and fun things. She was a very giving person. If anyone was ever in need, Amanda would always be there right away, even if you didn't ask.
She was starting to, you know, be more responsible, and especially, you know, the future was more than just tomorrow or next week, and that affected her, you know, in ways you might expect. I mean, in terms of her, you know, her party life or whatever.
Karen had a really vivacious spirit. She was the kind of person who filled the room. When she walked in, she was a star. She was really just excellent and fun and didn't care in all the right ways, I guess would be the best way to put it. She was herself no matter what.
Karen was she was a great life liver. She had worked at a number of jobs. She had been in nursing school. She had her CNA license. She had done work as a CNA, and she did like that. And people liked having her, you know, take care of them. And she did like health care, but I think she could make her living doing her art. That would have been her main objective because she loved it.
Karen and Amanda together were a force to be reckoned with. It was like they were both long legs and long hair and just tall, beautiful girls. They stood out. They had the same tenacity and the same spirit.
You know, there are 3 factors that come together in accidents with young people, and that is why people hesitate to call them accidents. But with young people, we see speed, we see the lack of safety equipment, safety belts. We see shenanigans going on in the car, a lot of loud music and a lot of conversation and inattentiveness to driving. But finally, and most disturbingly, we see a lot of drinking and driving. And those combinations, we know, are deadly.
We talked a lot about drinking and what it was costing her and what her lifestyle was costing her as far as not moving forward.
I talked to Karen about drinking on several occasions, just about being responsible and that we were concerned, and she always maintained that she had everything under control.
I had actually talked to Karen's father earlier in 2006 because we had heard, we had concerns and shared concerns and about how they were acting together.
Amanda always liked having fun, and sometimes alcohol had quite a bit to do with it, but not always, because she was always a fun person.
We were hoping for the best, but we knew that, it could turn out badly. And we shared that with Amanda very, she wasn't living at home, and we obviously didn't want it to be the topic for conversation every time we saw her. But, we picked our spots as well as we could, and it seemed to be registering, in a good way.
Brooke County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Highway 42.
Okay.
There is a car that has turned over just north of Tannenbaum. It looks bad. It looks like 2 people not moving.
Two people, okay. You're just at the north end of Sister Bay, right on the highway, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did they hit something?
Yeah, a pole.
They hit a pole. All right, we're going to get everybody right up there, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, sure. Northern Door, respond to a rollover accident on Highway 42 by Tannenbaums, north end of Sister Bay. Two people in the vehicle.
I was notified about this accident because of a very unusual event at the accident. When our crews arrived, they found what they believed were two people in a vehicle. One was in the front seat and in fact had been moved into the area by the pedals. Her body was in that area of the vehicle, and there was no sign and indication of life, and they assessed the individual, and in fact she was determined to be dead. They turned their efforts then to the young woman in the back seat, and assessed her, and they extricated the patient from the back, treated, and then subsequently transported. Quite a bit later, when the medical examiners and the investigators were there doing work on the young woman who had died, when someone felt that they saw a tuft of hair behind this girl that didn't appear to fit the rest of the profile. And so a removal was made, and that's when they found another young woman. One of the firefighters apparently thought they recognized her as Amanda, who happens to be my niece. And so it was decided to call my house. I just live about a mile from there, and ask if I would come and identify, because there was no identification on Amanda. When I got to the scene, I went over to the roadway where they had her body already bagged in a body bag, and unzipped the bag, and there she was.
It appears that the vehicle was southbound on Highway 42. It did go off onto the shoulder on one side of the road. It was kind of a hill with a curve in it. The driver apparently overcorrected, and due to the speed went out of control, crossing the roadway, going into the opposite lane of traffic and into the ditch, where it struck a tree and rolled over. Because of his relationship with the deceased, Dick and I did discuss the fact of going to the residence together to notify the parents and family members that their loved one did pass away in the accident.
I've known the parents of Karen for many, many years, and of course Amanda's parents are my brother-in-law and sister-in-law.
I had talked to her on Sunday afternoon, and she told me her plans were to go to the movies that night with her boyfriend. She said, I'll be over tomorrow early. We're just going to go out to the show tonight, and I'm going to get up early and come over and do laundry at the house, if that's okay. And I said, sure. So, all good. This is all good, you know. And I had a test the next day, so I studied pretty late, and I'm a first responder, and so I heard the call that night, and I went downstairs, and you can repeat it, and I repeated it, and you know, I thought, well, no, that can't be any of my kids, because none of them are in that area, and it was beyond the area that I would normally go on a call, so I just went back to bed, and